In times like these, you have to show us what you can do. In these short segments, talented individual contributors and business leaders share how their expertise is used in real life. We get to see their purpose in focus. Today's segment is all about Brittany L. Toliver, an empathetic manager who also happens to be disabled. But that hasn't affected her ability to think creatively and use outside-the-box thinking. In fact, it made her even better at it. Enjoy her story.
I became a manager right when the pandemic happened. And so everyone, including myself, went remote. None of us had ever done that before. So I really thought of tons of ways to try to keep engagement, to try to have my team trust in our leadership, even while the world was in chaos. People's mental health was very important to me. So I did more one-on-one sessions with people than I would normally do because I cared and I wanted to get a good gauge on where they were at the moment.
Everyone was having a really hard time during the pandemic themselves. So for you to actually have the empathy to take care of your family and your team must have taken a lot of emotional energy, right?
It definitely did. There were times when I burnt myself out a little bit, but in the end, I think it was worth it. We had a good retention rate. We didn't have anyone quit during the pandemic. It really brought us all together, and I was able to learn a lot about my coworkers, which I think is great because it really put a face with the name. One thing that I'd like people to remember is that they're worth it, no matter what anybody else says. The fact that you're here on Earth and you're a human being makes you worth it. That's something that I liked to impart on my team is that even amongst the chaos, you know your worth.
You have a big passion for accessibility in travel and hospitality, which is an angle you don't hear often. How would you describe surface accessibility versus helping someone as an individual and going a little bit deeper?
So I think about accessibility like I think about war movies. If you were never in the military, you wouldn't understand that all the details are wrong. I feel like accessibility is the same way. Unless you are disabled and you have to use those services, you wouldn't understand necessarily that things aren't built correctly. It affects a lot of people. And ultimately, in our consumer economy, that's a lot of missed dollars. Disabled people bring a lot to the table. If you think of them as possible customers, there's a untapped market there. I have to always come back to the airlines. I always think about the aisles and that they're actually very narrow. So it makes it extremely difficult, near to impossible for a wheelchair user or someone who has an ambulatory issue, a walking issue that can make airlines or even the thought of going on a flight really anxiety inducing. And so you have a lot of people who might choose a different sort of transportation, be it car, railway. Because of that, you're missing out on those possible dollars. And that's where universal design for everyone, it benefits everyone. For instance, sliding glass doors, that's an accessible feature that applies to everyone. If a mom has her baby in her arms and can't twist a doorknob open, yeah, then a sliding door helps her out too. If people really designed with a universal design concept in mind at the beginning of a project, then it would really benefit not just disabled people, but all people.
We hope this short interview encouraged you. Make sure you tune in for the next one.